entrepreneurs to the Door Grow Show or the Property Management Growth Podcast. I'm Jason Hull, the founder and CEO of Door Grow, the world's leading and most comprehensive group coaching mastermind for residential property management entrepreneurs. We've been doing this for over a decade and a half. I've brought innovative strategies and optimizations to the property management industry. I have spoken to thousands of property management companies. I've coached over 600 businesses. I've rebranded over 300 companies like Bar Rescue for property managers, cleaning up their businesses. And we would love to help coach you and support you in your growth. We have innovative strategies for building out growth engines, for building out your operational challenges, for helping you figure out how to get to the next level in your business. And one of the cool tools that I'm excited to showcase today with my guest here, David Normand, is Vendaroo. We've had you on the show before. Welcome back, David.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It felt like years ago. It was only about, I think, 8 months ago since we did this. So much has changed over the time. So it's great to be back. Yeah, it's great to be
Good
back.
to have you. I know you're in the middle of this AI revolution, which AI is just innovating and changing so rapidly. It probably does feel like years ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
you
been
guys have
crazy.
made a lot of changes too. So you even changed your brand name from the last time we had you on the show, which was,
Yep,
I think, Tulu,
yep,
right? And so,
yep.
yeah. So why don't you get us caught up on what's going on? Because there's been a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, first of all, for having me here today, Jason, and from the entire Vendaroo group of us, which, the team has grown 10x over the past 8 months, just
Wow.
which has been awesome. And I just also wanted to start in thanking everybody from what we call our client partners who have jumped in into this great unknown that is AI, and it's going to be like, how is this going to work in our industry? And so that's really what we've been focusing on the past 8 months. It's been a unbelievable journey of both failures, successes, learnings, and insights. And ultimately, we're getting excited here at the NARPM Broker Owner, which is in Denver, to unveil Vendaroo. Like, this is the coming out party, and so we're super excited. If you're going to be there, we have a massive booth that we have set up. That we have the AI alliance with other people that are working in the AI space. And I really hope that you guys come over and check it out. I promise this: you'll never see a booth or a display like we have set up at the
Oh
NARPA
man.
Broker Owner. So
Now I want to go attend it just
yeah,
so I can see your booth.
you'll never see it. So let me put it this way: you may see the robot from the Jetsons walking around the booth, walking around the NARPM Broker open.
Okay,
So yeah,
Rosie.
yeah, you may see something like that. So
Will she be vacuuming with her apron?
yeah,
Okay.
she'll be doing a little social engagement. It'll be cool. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. So catch us up on what, like, let's get into the kind of the background and the overview for people that have never heard about
Yeah.
Vendaroo and what you guys do and how you got into this.
Yeah.
Give people kind of the backstory and then we'll
Yeah,
kick this
yeah,
off.
thank you for that. So really the backstory is that, we know of this AI economy that's coming, right? And there was a few of us, I've been in this industry for 18 years. I've managed, portfolios of 40,000 doors. I've managed them for governments. I started off with our own property management, much like you guys. We started off with 80 doors. We grew to 550 doors in 4 years. And so it was exciting to know that technology that was coming that promised duplication because,
Mhm.
as any property manager believes, we know how to do it the best, right? And so what we decided to do is to come together and say, hey, if AI is coming, there's two things that we need to figure out. Number one is, how is this going to help us show value in this new industry to this new generation of property owners that is here, that is coming, that's been raised in the technology world too, right? And two, can it actually duplicate our efforts? Can it actually be an employee for us, right? And I don't care what people are promising about AI. You don't know until you get into what we call, like, get into the weeds. You got to get into the trenches.
Mm.
And so that's what we did, right? We went out and we were the guys that grabbed the torch and we said, we are going to take all the risk. We are going to jump into the mix. We're going to ask people to jump onto the bandwagon with us, and we're going to figure this out. And oh my gosh, what an unbelievable 8 months it has been in learning and insights. And I can't wait to get into all the things that we've learned about the property management industry. But that's really what we've been focusing on here the past 8 months, right? So we started off with, um, well, hey, can the AI assist the VA? Can it turn them into a super VA? Is that what it's going to be? And we were like, some people were like yay, and some people were like nay. And
Yeah.
so, and because that human failure still was there, right? And what happens if they left? There was that inconsistency. And then it was like, all right, well, what can the AI own, right? What can it do? What can it perfect? And can AI actually be the last employee that I ever hire,
Mm,
right? That's
yeah.
really, that's a really cool thing to do. But the property managing community had some really specific demands that they said that this is going to be the last AI that I ever, or if this is going to be the last employee that I've ever hired, it has to do this. And that's what I'm excited about our new technology because it's doing those things, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you guys have made some big moves. I know, like I have clients that we've sent over to you, and
Mhm.
they've shared some incredible stories. Like
Mhm.
one client, I think he had 154 units or something like under management, and he said in the first day of turning on Vendaroo, like it closed out like 80 something work orders.
Mhm.
And like it
Mhm.
was crazy. Another client, they had a little more doors. They said it was like 50 something work orders were closed out
Mhm.
in the first day of turning it on.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, you're creating some dramatic stuff. Like this is a very different thing than what people are used to in maintenance.
Yeah, yeah. And really what the exciting part about this, Jason, is that maintenance is actually really easy. And I know people laugh when I say that. It's
Yeah.
it's managing communications that is extremely difficult. Okay?
Okay.
Right? Because you have, what AI told us about our industry over the last 8 months is when we dove in with it and it took a step back and it said, whoa, you guys don't have a data problem here. You guys have a emotion problem here.
Okay.
There's very specific
What do you mean by
categories
that?
of emotion that are in this space, right? Like, how do you build a technology that senses something? And I know this relates with property managers because I know this for myself. A property manager can walk into their office, sit down at their desk, and their spidey senses go off and they know something's wrong.
Yeah.
There's no screen that's telling them anything, there's no spreadsheet. They know something's off, right? And so the AI is like, well, the statuses really don't matter that much to me based upon the feedback that I'm seeing from the property managers because the status and the communication all seem to be in order, but there's a disruption somewhere. So I need to know about people's emotions. I need to understand about, is the
Mm,
resident happy? Does the owner feel supported? Is the vendor being directed? And does the property manager believe that I can own the outcome for this? And it was
mm.
really cool to start seeing its learning and understanding and picking up on these cues where people say that this is a data driven industry. It's really an emotion driven industry.
Oh yeah, it's a relationship and emotion industry for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, big time. And it's really cool to see, and it's really started happening over this past last 60 days. The amount of residents, I was actually just looking at one before I jumped on here, that are like thanking the system, right? Imagine that. Like, think of all of us that actually worked with a chat bot at like Verizon. I've
Yep.
never thanked a chat bot at Verizon for being
Sure.
outstanding in
Yeah.
their customer service, right?
It's like, how
And
do I
and
get a representative? Representative,
yeah,
representative.
yeah, for sure. Versus you seeing people, seeing individuals saying to the vendor room maintenance coordinator, "Hey, I really appreciate feeling supported and how fast you acted because there's empathy that's inside of its knowledge and learning." So I don't want to get too much into the details on there, but yeah, these are some of the exciting things that
I
we're
mean,
working on.
empathy is the magic lubrication that makes everything better. I
Yeah,
mean, they've done studies. Teams, even in working in warehouses, are more productive if the team has a higher level of empathy.
yeah,
And doctors perform better. If there's a higher level of empathy, there's less malpractice suits. Like empathetic reflection and empathy is a magical ingredient. I coach clients to add that in during sales
yeah,
because their close rate goes up dramatically,
yeah,
right? So yeah, so leveraging like getting the AI to actually be empathetic in its communication,
yeah.
when that's probably not a natural skill for a lot of maintenance coordinators to be
It's
empathetic.
not a natural skill for a lot of people in the maintenance industry, right?
Yes.
So, especially when you talk about burnout, people begin developing views of the rental community, right? Like, oh my gosh, they're calling again. And that empathy meter goes lower and lower and lower and
Mm.
lower as
Yeah.
people have been in the industry longer. But isn't it great that you have an employee now that
Yeah.
knows that it's my duty, rain or shine, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 a year, to always operate at the highest level of empathy. I never have a bad day. I never take a day off. I'm never upset. I'm never short with somebody on the phone. Like those
Never
are the minds,
tired.
never tired, never like, oh my gosh, Susan is calling me again. I'm gonna let the phone just ring because I'm annoyed of talking to her. And it just is constantly hitting that same level of standard. And this is what's exciting to me is that there are people that have played around with this and have been a part of what I call the pain phase, right? The pain phase is that understanding the way that agentic AI works, right? It's input, output, right? The more that you're putting into it, the better the results are that you're going to get out of it. Okay.
Right.
It's just like training an employee. So over the last 8 months, what we've seen is that the community has trained this to be the level of a person that has now been working in the industry for 5 years. In 8 months, it's got 5 years of learning in 8 months. Okay.
Wow.
In the next 6 to 12 months, we're probably looking at somebody that has 10 to 15 years understanding the next 6 to 12 months and understanding the level of type of tasks that it can do, especially getting into estimates and getting into some other work. So in the beginning, and again, just empathize, having empathy in my own life towards the people that jumped in that are like, what is this all about? Like,
Mhm.
how does AI fail? There's still people that are involved, and it was like this big like momentous train of like, all these people were jumping on and giving ideas, and people are in the loop, and now it's weeding everything out, and the AI stepping in and saying, hey, I appreciate all the input that you've given me.
Mm.
Thank you for all your effort. I'm now ready to step up to the plate and to own the outcome, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing at the NARPM show that's coming out. There's 5 AI tools. There's a master agent, 5 AI tools. And I'll give you a couple of pieces here that we had feedback from our property managers. Like number one, across the board, a property manager said, if I'm hiring AI as my last employee, it has to work in my system.
Yeah.
Okay, right? Like I don't want another
Yeah.
technology,
I don't want a new
another
system I got
dashboard.
to get every vendor to use, or a new system I got to get my team to use or figure out. We don't need another tool to make our lives more difficult. They've got
Yeah,
to use our stuff.
they
We
got to
have our
use our
existing
stuff.
stack.
Yeah. So now the AI is fully integrated into all the most common PMS systems. You have like a cool Chrome extension that you can download, and there's a little yellow kangaroo right there, and it's actually reading the work order that you're working on, and you can literally just ask it a question now, and just being like, "Hey, did anybody express frustration or concern on this work order?" Right? Because that's the emotion behind the status that you need to know. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, 2 days ago, Sally said that she was actually really frustrated about the multiple reschedules by this vendor. And it's like, great, that's a person I should be reaching out to, and that's what I should be knowing, that a status is never going to tell you, right?
Yeah.
It's in your Slack, right? So if I'm on my phone, I'm talking to my employee, and I'm laying in bed, and I have a panic attack as a property manager, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did we take care of John's refrigerator? And
Mm.
the office is closed. I can't get a hold of my employee. Yeah, you can. Your employee works 24/7 now. Hey, can you give me an update on the refrigerator replacement at John's place? Yeah, it was scheduled this day. I contacted John. Everything's good to go. Go to sleep. Like that's the power. Full syncing, so it's in your platform. That's really cool.
Awesome.
Um, the other thing, it's got to be branded, right? This is the thing that we really learned about, like how important branding is to the community of property managers, right?
Yeah.
So the communications that go out have to be from your area code. That's done.
Hmm.
The emails that go out have to have like your company name and your logo on it. The AI is doing that as well too, so that's being sent out, which is really cool. So
Nice.
people are feeling like that loyalty to brand is super important. And also, do you know now that the AI can ask the residents to give a Google review, and we can link to the Google reviews and give you instant Google reviews to your page through the AI, which is cool. Like
Yeah.
it will know that if the success of a Google review is high on the way that the work order was done, that it's probably best to ask this person, and it will send
Mhm.
them a little thing. Hey, can we get a feedback from you? And we link up to your Google review, and it posts that Google review for you to generate those, because we know those are super valuable to property managers. So that's actually going out today. That's kind of a little teaser there. That's the emails out now.
Nice. We'll have to get you to also connect it to our Gather Kudos links for clients, because then people can pick which review site, so it diversifies the review profile.
Love it, love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to hook you up with our guy Dotan. He's running that. He's one of our head of product. He's actually out of Israel. He's an amazing guy. I'd love to get you
Yeah,
connected
cool.
with him.
Let's do it.
Cool. And then the biggest one too is like, I need a single point of contact, right? And we knew that before. There was a lot of people and were still involved. There was a lot of oversight that was going on, having that confusion and single point of contact. Now it's in your phone, it's in your Slack, it's in your Chrome extension. It doesn't matter what's going on. You have one point of contact. It's your employee. You ask the question, get the answer. Jason, you can even ask for a change. You can even say, hey, I want to change a vendor on a job. And you'll see that the vendor gets changed for you in the system. You can even say to your AI, and this is the big one, hey, how do you triage this work order? And I want you to do this, or I want you to do that. And you just do it right through Slack or right through your PM chat, and it makes the change for you. And now you have custom triage, and all property managers have the ability to train their own AI for their company. Think how cool that is.
That's
A person
super
with
cool.
75 doors now in the product that's being released has their own AI agent customized for their company, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what happened over the last 8 months. So you can see my excitement. There's been a lot of hard
that's
work in
amazing.
this, but this has been all the effort, and a huge thank you out to everybody who's tried us. Even said that this wasn't for them at a point in time, because those learnings went into what's going to make this product the best product in the property management space, and is going to help people leverage sales and leverage efficiencies and blow their owners' minds away in ways that we have never thought about. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I know like initially when you rolled this out, a lot of people were nervous about AIs, and you guys had kind of a human layer in between the AI and any communication initially.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
there was like they had like a rep, and a lot of people associated, oh, I've got this rep,
Yeah.
Steven or whatever, and it's my
Yeah.
rep, or
Yeah.
Pedro, and I've got Pedro, and like, oh no, what if Pedro leaves? And they were associating with that, while the AI is really doing the crux of the work, right? And so you guys have shifted away from even that. Now the AI is directly communicating with people, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about that. So definitely. So in the beginning, there was like we all had like lack of trust. We believed what it was going to do, but it was
Yeah,
like we had a ton of people still trying like, using qualified VAs, training them, if
yeah,
it fails, like, you have to have a person step in.
yeah.
And so let's talk about that. So, it was definitely that human layer, and let's talk about where we're at today. It is very clear to us, and the one thing that separates us from everybody is we still believe that humans are super important in this process. Okay.
Yeah.
And where humans are very important in this process are going to be when the AI says, hey, I need you to make a phone call to this person for me.
Mm.
Right? Hey, I've reached out to this vendor 3 times and they haven't responded yet. I need you to give a phone call to see what's going on. Right? Hey, I need you to recruit a vendor for me. I need you to reach out and do a recruitment for the vendor for me. Hey, this owner is asking questions about this estimate. I need you to give a call for me. So the AI is basically able, on a standard work order, the AI can handle 95% of the workflow, no problem. Work order comes
Yeah.
in, gets assigned to the resident, it gets out to the vendor, it's under the NTE, not to exceed, it's great, the work gets done. The resident uploads his photos, the AI says to the resident, are you happy? Everyone's good, it closes the work order out, cool, right? Um, and then if a
And
human,
how's it communicating with the tenant and with the vendor typically?
yeah, so it's very clear that, and this isn't a surprise to anybody, everybody loves text messages, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just what it is. You literally, like, people will get a phone call and they won't pick up, and the text will come back
Text
like,
back.
yeah,
What do
text
you
me.
need? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, text me here. But so here's the things that people don't see behind the scenes that we'll talk about. So the complexity that went into mapping out how to allow vendors. So a vendor could have like 20 jobs, right? And we don't want to send him like a code that he has to text for every work order
Yeah.
so that it links to the right work order. Like, what guy wants to do
Yeah.
that? Like, that's not how he works. So we figured out how to allow a vendor through AI just to use his regular phone and text anything about this thing, and it's understanding it and it's mapping it and it's routing it to all those work orders, because we knew that in order for this to be the last employee somebody would have to handle, it
Yeah.
also means that the vendor has to be happy. And same
Yeah.
for the resident. They can just text that they have multiple work orders. It understands what work order it's going to. If it's not quite sure, it'll ask them, hey, is this question about this work order? And they say, yeah. And so there's not like, again, codes and links and things that they have to do. It has to
Right.
be seamless if they're working with a person. So yeah, text message is massive, email is second, and then phone is third for sure.
Got it.
Yeah.
So is your AI system calling people yet? Is that
Um,
you said phone is third,
people are
or is
okay
it telling the
getting.
property manager to make the phone call?
Yeah, people are okay with if they're calling in like our new front desk agent, which if a person calls in and they want to get information about a listing or if they want to get information about a work order or something like that, or they're okay with getting that type of information,
Yeah.
but it is very clear that they are not okay with AI calling them when they're asking for an update on a work order. Like that that like that line in the
Not
sand
yet.
is very clear.
Yeah.
And so we have people on the team that are constantly monitoring the AI, giving feedback, hitting improvement. I want everybody to know there is not a work order that is taking place that is not touched by a human at least twice.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Right.
there's some oversight there. There's you're watching this. There are humans
Yeah.
involved.
And
Yeah.
then the AI will, when it hits certain fail points, right, it then escalates those things up to what we call the human in the loop, right? So there's an AI assistant. There's people now that we're training a whole new generation of people that are no longer going to be maintenance coordinators.
Yeah.
They're AI assistants now, right? And so when the AI says, hey, this work order is not going down the path that I think it should go to be successful, I'm escalating this up to a human. And so now, as a property manager, not only am I getting this AI agent workflow that's standardizing the empathy and the workflows and all the stuff that we talked about in the communications, I also now get a fractional employee
Yeah.
that when the AI says, hey, I need help, I already have an employee that it can reach out to that can make that phone call or call the vendor, but it's also monitoring the AI for me on top of it. So yes, there is, and that's one of the big things that separates us apart is that the platform comes with what we call a human in the loop, an expert in the loop,
Yeah.
and so we're training the first generation of AI assistants in the property management industry. Yeah.
Got it. So the AI maintenance coordinator has human assistance
Hmm. Yeah.
underneath
And
it to
and
support it
before
and
it
help
was
them
the other
out.
way around, where
Yeah.
the AI was assisting the human, and now
Right.
the humans are assisting the AI. That's what's
Wow.
happened in the
That
last
may
year.
be the future of all of our roles. So who knows?
If you're not reading articles and studying up on this, I think that's going to catch you by surprise pretty quickly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Learn how to write prompts. I'll tell everybody right now.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. So now what about this? There's the uncanny, sort of stage where people get a little bit nervous about AI and what do they call it? The uncanny valley or something like this, or right where it's so close to human that it becomes creepy. And there's some people that have fear about this, that are concerned. You're gonna have a lot of late to adopters that are like resistant. I'll never do AI. What would you say to somebody when you get on a sales call and they're like, "Well, I'm really nervous about this AI stuff," and they don't get it?
Yeah. Um,
I'm sure there's people listening right now. They're like, "Oh man,
yeah.
AI is gonna kill us all, and it's gonna take over the world, and it's gonna take our jobs, and they think it's evil."
Yeah, yeah. And I really want to hear that fear, and I want to, like, again, have empathy towards that because I do understand that fear of change causes
Mm.
people to get
Change in
paralyzed,
general,
right?
yes.
Right? It's like, whoa, I like everything the way it's going to be, right? And we are historically in one of those phases of like the Industrial Revolution, the
Yeah.
Renaissance, like the automobile from horse. Like if this is what is taking place, this will be
It's
written
massive
down in
change.
history. It's a massive change. So what I would say to them, and not from a way of fear, but to inspire them, is there are a lot of hungry entrepreneurs out there that are embracing this head on,
Yeah.
that are pushing the boundaries and the limits to be able to bring insights and customer service to their clients at a much higher level. And if you want to compete in this new AI economy, I would definitely encourage you to understand to get in and start investing in yourself now.
Mm.
But understand that investing in AI means having some pain threshold. Like you got to get in. Like you need to be able to give the feedback. You need to understand that if it falls short, you have to be able to give it the time and the energy and the reward and the payoff of what I'm seeing for property managers who've embraced that when they're sitting there and they're going, I don't touch maintenance at all anymore,
Yeah, it's
right?
wild.
Right. And those
Yeah.
are the people that in the beginning of this relationship, and there's a few that come to my head, are the ones that were sending me emails constantly saying,
Yeah.
David, this is failing me. I believe in this, but this is failing me. And as my technology partner, I know that you're going to help us get this better. And there is, I have this word down that struggle equals great conversation,
Mm.
right? Like, and so they had a struggle, and that opened up a great conversation. And because of that, their technology and the technology is getting better. So
Yeah.
I think that from a personal point of view in this industry, what do you think? One thing that I want to solve with AI is I think that we can all say that over the past 15 years, we've probably yelled at a lot of vendors or yelled at a lot of VAs or yelled at a lot of people. Let's
Right.
start yelling at the AI, and then hopefully that the AI will actually eliminate the need for us to ever have to yell at anybody again because it knows
Yeah.
us and it never fails us.
It really is amazing. I mean, your company is creating freedom for the business owner from being involved in maintenance,
Yeah,
really.
yeah,
And it just and they get used to that pretty quickly. Like maintenance is just running, and they're like, yeah, it frees up so much headspace for them to focus on growth. It gives them a whole bunch of like just greater capacity.
yeah.
So they feel like, yeah, we could handle adding any number of doors now, and we know we can still fulfill and do a good job.
Yeah, fixed cost scaling, right? That's a term that we came up with is now that you know that I have a per cost door, a price per door that
Yeah.
will cover all my maintenance. So if I went in and brought on 75 doors, I know that I don't have to go out and hire another employee. The system just grows with it, and I know exactly what my margin is for all those doors, right? And as we know, before fixed cost scaling, a property manager is like, I have enough people, I don't have enough people. Someone quit, someone didn't quit. My profit margins are good, my profit margins are bad.
Yeah.
And now with these AI tools, you have your front desk employee, you have your maintenance coordinator, you have these fixed cost scales, and now somebody calls you up and says, hey, I want you to take on 25 doors, and you're like, I have the resources for maintenance, which is we know is 80% of the workload already. I don't have to go out and hire another maintenance coordinator because the system just grows with me, which is
So
cool.
one of the things you shared at DoorGo Live, and you're our top sponsor for the upcoming
Can't wait to come
DoorGo
back.
Live.
Can't wait.
So we're really excited to have you back. So everybody, make sure you're at DoorGo Live if you want. Our theme this year is innovating the future of property management,
Mhm.
and we're going to be showcasing innovating pricing structures that are different than how property managers have typically historically priced, that allow you to lower your operational costs and close more deals more easily at a higher price point. We'll be showcasing a three-tier hybrid pricing model that we've innovated here at DoorGrow, and we've got clients using it. It's been a game changer. We're going to be sharing other cool things about the future, hiring systems, etc. Right? So you guys will also be there showcasing the future. One of the things you shared previously that really kind of struck me is you did some research and you showed the typical cost per unit that most
Mhm.
companies had
Mhm.
just to cover and deal with maintenance,
Yeah.
and then what you were able to get it down to,
Yeah.
and that alone was just like a bit of a mind blowing. Could you just share a little bit of numbers here?
Yeah, so one of the first things that we had to do when we started way back in the day is figure out, well, like Like, what's the impact of AI going to be us from like a cost perspective, right? Is it a huge change? And so we went out on a big survey mission, and we were surveying property managers and asking them, what's your cost per door for managing maintenance? How much do you spend every door to manage maintenance? Now, the first thing is less than 1% of property managers knew what that cost was.
Oh,
Okay,
sure.
right?
Because, but then they got to figure out, oh, we got a maintenance coordinator and we've got these people doing phone calls and they
Yeah,
cost this. And yeah, it's
yeah.
complicated.
Complicated. So we built a calculator,
Mm,
okay? And then people could start adding in that information out into the calculator. And the average person was around $13.50 a door.
okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Right. So that was where the average person was. Somewhere in the low 20s,
Yeah.
and others were actually pretty good. Like I'd say like, some of the good ones that we saw were maybe around like, 10, $11 a door or something along that line.
They probably
Uh,
had a large portfolio, would be my guess.
yeah, and also I think a lot of it's just like, I don't know if they were still accounting for all their software and everything that they had in
Maybe they're
there.
not factoring
Yeah,
everything in.
yeah. No, I think if we really dug in, it'd be different. So now we know that, the base package of what people are getting in, the average cost of what people are paying for 24/7 services, that's emergencies around the clock, is about
Hmm.
$7.50 a door, right? So
Yeah.
right off the bat, in AI's first swing, it said we cut the cost in half.
Yeah.
Okay, right? So 50% reduction. I mean, to me as an owner, a 50% reduction in cost, that's like, you know, alarms and celebration going off, for sure. And
Yeah.
then
And
and
that's if
then
everything just stayed the same, like it was still the same level of quality, cutting it in half would be a solid win right there.
yeah, yeah, that's just like status quo stuff. And now, what with the release of the new vendor root product, that's actually being announced here today, the email's going out to all of our existing clients of all the new features that are coming out. Now we're starting to see that, that quality is now increasing to where if you were to go out and hire that person, you may have to be spending, 55,000 or $65,000 a year, right? So
Mm.
now it's like saying, okay, if we can get as good as what these people are using for their VAs, right?
Mm.
And we know what that cost is, and they're saying that's what their factors is. Well, what happens in the next 6 to 12 months when this is a seasoned person that you would have to pay $85,000 a year to, right?
Yeah.
And right, because they have knowledge of estimates and knowledge of vendor routing and knowledge of, it
Yeah,
can
and you've
handle a whole
invested
maintenance department.
so much time into them, so much attention. They know your properties, they know your portfolio, they know the vendors.
Hmm.
Like you've invested so much into this person that now they sort of have you by the balls so that they're like, hey, I want 80K or I walk. You're
Yeah,
like, you've got to come up with it,
yeah,
right? You've got to do it.
yeah.
And because that's not easy to create. And a lot of people, in order to have a good maintenance coordinator, they need a veteran of the industry. They
Veteran
need
of the
somebody
industry.
that's been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to find.
Yes, it's extremely hard to find. As we know, one of the things that I think that we're doing for this industry is we're actually preserving knowledge that I don't think is necessary getting passed down.
Yeah.
There's a lot less people that I think are as handy as they once were in the Americas.
Mm.
And so we have a lot of that knowledge. Like, we know that the average age of an electrician is in the 60s, the average age of a plumber is in the 60s. And these guys, they have wealth of knowledge that it can troubleshoot anything that's going on in a house. And so to be able to try to preserve some of that, so maybe if a person does come in, maybe there's some knowledge sharing along the lines, but let's take it even another step for Jason, that in the future, the AI is going to know the location of the hot water tank in that house. It's going to then add it automatically to the system. Like it's going to know more knowledge than they will, because it's going to have maps of every single property that's all currently sitting inside of, that maintenance coordinator's head, right? And
Mm.
so it's gonna actually know more than them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah, it is.
It's the
Yeah, it's really
future.
wild.
Cool. Well, you're rolling out a bunch of new features. You're announcing these today. You've
Mhm.
told me a little bit, but why don't you tell the listeners what's changing, what's new, what innovations have come out, what are you guys launching?
Yeah, yeah, exciting. Yeah. So the biggest one I think is, which is the most exciting, is ResiRoo, which is the first one that actually handles all the communications with the resident, and does the triage and troubleshooting.
First one of what? What are you talking about?
So we have our products. So you have these AI tools, right? These agents, right? And
Yeah.
so
So
every
think of them like different sort of people.
skill sets, yeah, different person,
Okay.
exactly. And so
Okay.
that's when you come and see our display at the NARPM conference, will see these 5 agents kind of in their work desk and in their environment. It's kind of cool
Okay.
to be able to see them, right? So the coolest part about that one is we're doing a major product, update on that for not only the knowledge base, but we're actually turning that over to the company. We were talking about this a little bit before, and now they own their own AI agent, and they can customize it into how they want it to ask questions or the type of questions and the mindsets when it's triaging stuff, triaging work orders for their portfolio. Like super
Mm.
cool. So fully customizable to your company, right? So
Now, sometimes the more humans get involved, the more they mess stuff up.
yes, we make sure they don't mess it up. So everyone's got to learn how to write prompts, and they'll submit it into us. And we have a great team of AI engineers that when that knowledge base is written
Okay.
or what they're doing, we will ensure that it is put in so that it actually produces the desired outcome.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a very exciting one. The second one that I think is so cool. Do you know that only 10% of all estimates get approved by the owner without one or multiple questions because owners really struggle with trust when it comes to estimates? Like
Wow.
10%. Like that's a really bad number I felt as the industry that owners only believe us 1 out of 10 times. Like that's the
Okay.
way I took
Yeah.
that, right? And so Owneroo is what I coined inside is the estimate of the future.
Mm.
That really was looking and understanding like um, what questions was the owner asking when they were rejecting a bid that we could proactively ask the answer for them to
Mm.
help guide them to understanding the value in this estimate that they're looking at in historical context to the property, how many other people have experienced this issue. Like there's a whole bunch of factors that should go into an estimate, and an estimate should no longer be like here's a cost from Frank, right? Like that was
Right.
like
Here's
that was
what
like
Frank said it is. And they're
yeah,
like,
like
well,
that was
I
like
don't
from
know
the
that's good. How do I
1940s.
trust that?
How do I
Yeah.
trust that? That was from the 40s, and we're
How much
still
went
doing
into
the
this
same thing.
decision? Was this just out of the blue, like
Yeah.
pulled out of your ass, or is this like legit?
Yeah, yeah. What's the, we live in a data-driven world. So what's the intellect behind this estimate? And so I'm really excited about Owneroo, which is going to be the new standard for the way that estimates are created. Um, we have the front desk agent, which is coming out. That one is going to handle phone calls that are coming in, be able to talk about available listings, ask your general questions about leases, route phone calls over to property managers for you. So again, very human-like interaction, great AI voice. Actually, we feel it's going to be the best in the industry. So a person's calling in, just like they're calling your office, able to handle all those front desk things.
Mm.
Um, we have the PM chat, which is now the employee, which is fully integrated into all of your systems. It's in Slack. That's your employee that you get to talk to. We believe that if you're going to hire somebody, they should be inside of your communication channels. You have
Yeah.
the Google Chrome extension that it's on right inside your AppFolio or your Buildium or your Renfine software that you can ask and talk to it. So yeah, so we have a lot of exciting products that have come out, and then of course the backbone of all of them in the middle is Vendoroo, which handles all the scheduling, all the communications. A resident asks for an update, it responds to them. An owner asks for an update, it responds to them, and it handles actually the body of the work order. So you have those 5 tools we
Mm.
believe are what the property management industry said. If you're going to give me an employee, this is what the employee has to be. This is what
Yeah.
makes up that employee. So we say that these tools, these agents were actually built by the property management industry. And that excites me because if you're not building AI tools from working with your partners, from being on the ground floor with them and using the data and building tools based upon the data and their pain points and their failures,
Yeah.
I would buyer beware. If somebody's coming to you and saying, "Hey, we figured this all out in a lab, come use it,"
Yeah.
like
Right. Yeah.
buyer beware.
Yeah. So you guys connect with Slack, they can communicate through Slack, but
Mhm.
Slack's a paid tool. Have you guys considered Telegram? I love Telegram Messenger.
All
Could you
right.
do that?
Well,
Write it down.
we'll add
Telegram
that to the
Messenger
list.
is like the iMessage tool that works on every device. It's free. It's one of the most secure. It's not owned or controlled by Facebook like WhatsApp. Like, yeah, but
Okay.
WhatsApp might be a close second, but we use
Okay.
Telegram internally. So I love
There
Telegram.
we go. Yep.
Yeah, that autofocus, man.
Yeah, what's going on there? Yeah, I stepped away. Let's see what it does here. Let's see if I can get it back. Let me just turn this off for a second. All right. Let's see
Yeah.
here. Yeah, yeah, we'll definitely take that into consideration for
Yeah,
sure.
check it out because what I love is the voice message feature, and I can just listen to my team and others at like high speed, but internal communications, and it's free for everybody, which is great. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess it doesn't want to it doesn't want to function right now. So yeah. So a lot of big and really like I think a lot for a lot of people it was like, um, you know, who was Vendoroo in the beginning, and Vendoroo was like the team of like people that were trying to figure out like how was AI going to work in this industry? How is it going to solve the needs of our property management partners? And this is why I say to everybody, if you thought about Vendoroo, if you came in and the experience wasn't great with Vendoroo, if you're one of our existing clients that has been with us and you're still moving forward, and we thank you so much for your dedication to this, the Vendoroo product, everything that we've done, everything that we worked at is being showcased at the NARPM broker owner. The email is going out today. This is who Vendoroo is. We're a team that is a technology partner for the property management industry that is helping building meaningful AI tools,
Mm,
specifically by demand by our industry to help us show value and to preserve this great industry for the future in this new AI economy, right? Like we need to step up. We have clients that are adding doors left and right because they're showing their clients that they use an AI maintenance system, and their clients are like, this is what I expect from a property management in this community, right?
yeah.
And again, Owneroo, that estimate, we believe that in the future like owners are going to say like I'm not approving an estimate unless it's like the estimate of the future, right?
Right.
Like that's the new standard. So you got to know what the new standards are, and you got to get technology that are going to help you compete with those new standards that will be in your community and are will be in your community in the next week, next 2 weeks, and definitely some really cool products in the next 6 months.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm really excited to see what you guys have been able to create so far. So, yeah, it's
That's
pretty
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe turn the camera away from your lamp. Maybe that'll we
yeah.
can
Let me
see
see
you
what
again. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on here.
I don't
So
know. Technology, sometimes it works,
technology
but we
sometimes.
keep
Right.
figuring it out. All right. Well, David, it's been awesome having you on the show. Sounds like you guys are really innovating the future. Everybody come to Dorgo Live. David, are you going to be at that one?
I will be there.
All right. So you can come meet David in person. We've got some amazing people that are going to be at this. We've got technology people. There's a gentleman there, one of the vendors. They created another really cool tool, but he had $100 million exit, in a previous business. Like, there's really amazing entrepreneurs and people at this event. So come to Dorgo Live, get your tickets. And if you do, we have just decided that we're going to give out to anybody that registers. You can pick from one of our free bonuses that are well worth the price of the ticket or coming or anything in and of itself, including our pricing secrets training that goes over a 3-tier hybrid pricing model, or our sales secrets training, which goes over how we're helping property managers crush it and closing more deals more easily at a higher price point, and reputation secrets, which are helping our clients get way more positive reviews by leveraging the psychology and the law of reciprocity and getting the majority of their tenants and owners to give them positive feedback online, and maybe some others. And so we're going to have, you'll be able to pick from these bonuses, one of these that you might like, and that's our free, most incredible free gift ever that we'll give to each person that registers for Dorga Live. So cool.
Awesome, man. Always great to see you. Looking forward to seeing you at Door Grow Live, and love that you guys are working on pricing because AI is gonna make people think different about pricing. It's going to be way more efficient. So you guys are ahead of the curve on that. Great job, Jason.
Awesome. All right. So if you check out, how can they check out Vendaroo, David?
Just visit vendaroo.ai, go to the website, request a demo with one of our great sales reps, and yeah, they'd love to help you out, see all the new products, see how far it's come. And again, we thank everybody from the bottom of our hearts for all their effort. People who've tried us out, come back and see what you built, and yeah, come check us out at Vendaroo.
Got it. Go check out Vendaroo. It's vendor, if you know how to spell that, VENDOROO.ai. Go check it out. All right. And if you're a property management entrepreneur, you want to add doors, you want to make your business scalable, you want to get out of the day to day, you want to increase the capacity so your company could easily handle another 200 plus doors without having to make any significant systems changes, reach out to us at DoorGrow. We will help you figure it out. So until next time, to our mutual growth. Bye, everyone.
Later.